Bill, I've been sitting here listening to all my colleagues talk about their journey through your team and all that you offer. But it makes me wonder if all the people who are here today for the first time really understand the concepts that you're advocating. And so maybe if we have everyone who's here for the first time just envision themselves being like at a football game, and they're all in the stands, and everyone on your team, all the attorneys are down in the field, and you're on the sidelines. You got your headphone on, you get your clipboard. You're Bill Hauser, you're Bill Belichick Hauser on the sidelines, and you're yelling out instructions. Hey, Buckley, more ad spend. Hey, Tansy, more videos. Hey, Bass, more delegation. But if you're in the stands and you don't know the rules of the game, you kind of might be at a loss. So let me tell you how this all clicked for me. Okay, so I've been an attorney for 30 years. I practice in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. I happen to be in San Diego right now with my wife. We're on our 38th wedding anniversary. I was going along fine. I had a great practice. It was me. I had two legal assistants with me for as many years as well, 28 and 24 years, something like that. And we did great. I was making between $400,000 and $500,000 a year for gross revenue. And as a small practice like mine in Southern New Hampshire, that's not a bad gross revenue. But my day was transactional. And I guarantee you that everyone in those stands right now watching this game have the same type of practice. It's a transactional practice. And what do I mean by that? Transactional meaning your day is governed by that phone call. It's governed by that walk-in. It's governed by you having to be at a hearing at 9 and a trial at 1. It's the emergency. You haven't made any plans for the future. I never made any plans for the future. I always wanted to say, yeah, I wanted to retire at a certain date, but I never really made any plans. And my economic health was always determined by what my December numbers said. Oh, I had a good year. Let's try to make better. Do better next year. And your economic health was also determinative of whether or not you gave out bonuses, if you gave out bonuses at all. But then I had, a triggering event in my life, which required me to think differently. So I went from a transactional mindset, transactional meaning, you're just going along. You're that toy train going around that Christmas tree every day, Groundhog Day, same thing. My copier broke down. Do I buy a new one? Do I spend 20 grand? Do I lease it? These are things that you're just every day, but you don't have anything planned for the future. And so, I'm not sure who said it earlier, but the pandemic hit and you came on, Bill, with your show. And I saw you through your PPP programming and you caught my attention. And one thing that you advocated was you have to be transformative. You cannot be transactional. You cannot be day to day. You can plan your day. You can plan your future. You can. And for me, learning that I am a business owner first, that happens to own a law firm, and by the way, I'm a lawyer too, that was transformative thinking for me. I am a business owner. So now I have to think like one. And by doing so, it has changed my mindset. It has changed my practice. It has changed my employees. I've hired 3 new employees since January of 2021. And where I was at on average $400,000 or $500,000 a year, by year end, by quarter end, by Q2 end, I'm already at 500,000. So what you are advocating, Bill, and by the way, to all those people in the stands, Bill doesn't make any promises. Bill doesn't make any guarantees. Bill says, here's my playbook. You can either put in the work, you can be Tom Brady, and yes, Patriots, yes, of course, Bill Belichick, Brady, of course, New England. You can put in the work, you can watch the film, and if you do, I forget who said it, the more prepared I am, the more successful I am.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you put in the work, this works. It does. And for all those in those stands, again, we are a like-minded community. There are, I think in the group that I'm in, there's 70 of us or so. And we are in a like-minded, transformative state. And it has been transformative, Bill. And Bill, for those out there, Bill is organic. Bill is brilliant. Bill is very down to earth. If you met Bill, at a coffee shop, you sit down and talk to him. There's really no pretense there. I'm 60 years old, and it's never too late. And for anyone out there who is thinking, well, if you're kicking the tires, if you're thinking, this might be too expensive, that is transitional. That is transactional thinking. Okay. It is transactional thinking. You have to wonder whether or not you want to lease your copier or buy your copier. That's transactional thinking. That is not going to get you where you need to be for lead abundance, for getting people into your tent in order to sell them your services. Okay. You have to need to know how to do this. You have to think on quarterly basis, every 30 days, every 90 days. Well, every 30 days, what I've been doing, every 90 days. And once you do that, and it doesn't take long to do, by the way, even though I started on my journey probably around August or so of last year, I actually began everything in January. I put everything in place in January. Here we are, it's July, and I don't want to say it's easy to do, okay, because it isn't in a sense. It's emotional. Your staff might not be on board. I often say, for our staff, all 4 tires have to be inflated in order for us to have a smooth ride. If one's underinflated, if one's flat, we're not going to have a great ride. So get on board, so, and there's been some ups and downs, but that's what happens with change, right, Bill? I mean, if change was easy, we'd all be doing it, and it isn't. And if you're thinking you can't change, let me tell you, you already have, okay? You already have transformed at least once in your life, because you went from graduating from college to going to law school. You didn't have to go to law school. You didn't have to become a lawyer, but you did. And you transformed yourself. You could have stayed with being whatever degree you had at the graduate, at college level, BS, whatever it is, but you decided to change and you put in the work. You put in the time it took to become an attorney. And then once you did, you began a transactional existence. Okay, you did, because you had to put your effort in, you had to prove yourself, you had to become, depending on where you were where you began your practice, you had to prove your worth, you had to pay your dues. You've paid your dues. If you're listening to this now, if you're putting in the time during a work week to listen to this program, you're already curious about how to do things differently or do them better. Okay, and so, don't worry about, it's easy for me to say, don't worry about how much it's going to cost. But if you have to worry about how much it's going to cost, that's the wrong thinking. And because there isn't anyone in our group who would disagree with what I'm saying. Because I said the same thing. I said, what? At the very beginning? But you know what? You got to get past that. And if you get past that, you're going to do fine.